Story 1: The Last Order. It began with a voicemail. "Hey man. It's Darren from work. Look, I know this sounds weird, but don't go to the McDonald's on 5th Street. Even if you're starving. Even if someone tells you it's a joke. Just don't go. Okay? Something's wrong with it." Then, a rustling sound, like fabric or fingers too close to the mic. A low whisper, barely audible. "They see you better when you eat the fries." Click. No explanation. No callback. Just that. 3 hours later, Darren was found in his apartment with his jaw dislocated, lips sewn shut from the inside with what authorities described as thin, greasy threads resembling fried potato fibers. Yeah. I still went to the McDonald's. Of course I did. It looked normal. That's what scared me first. Nothing about it felt off. Not the broken soda machine sign, not the flickering light above the drive-thru speaker, not the slightly too friendly teen behind the register who blinked 1 second too long every time I asked a question. I ordered a McDouble, large fries, and a vanilla shake. The receipt said, #666. Order ready, now, ****. Weird, sure. But that's when the hunger hit. I didn't feel hungry when I walked in. But now, the moment the bag hit the tray, my stomach turned inside out. I could smell the fries from 3 feet away and felt like crying. Not with joy. With need. I sat down. Bit into the burger. The moment I swallowed, the lights changed. Everything dimmed. Not all at once. Just like shadows sliding down the walls, like syrup pouring over the fluorescent glow. The room stayed lit, but the people inside stopped moving. Frozen. Like statues. I stood up. The register kid stared straight ahead, his mouth twitching like he wanted to scream. His arms were trembling, fingers flicking ever so slightly. Like a puppet being strung too tightly. I turned around and realized something else had changed. The other customers? Gone. No footsteps. No door chime. Just empty booths and cold trays where moments before people had been eating. Then my phone buzzed. One notification. From an app I'd never installed. McMemory is now syncing. Please remain seated. ****. I tried to leave. The front doors wouldn't open. Not locked. Just gone. The handles were still there. But behind the glass? Nothing. Just flat gray, like a painted wall pretending to be a window. Outside was static. My head started to ache. Images pushed into my brain, people I'd never seen. Children with paper hats. Fry cooks with melted name tags. Smiling customers with ketchup leaking from their ears. I turned back to the counter. The register kid was gone. In his place stood a man in a red and yellow uniform that didn't match the current McDonald's branding. His face was painted white. His nose was too long. No shoes. And he was holding my fries. "I believe these are yours," he said, voice like straw scraping against glass. I didn't take them. He stepped forward. And the lights dimmed again. This time, completely. When I woke up, I was sitting in the PLAYPLACE ball pit. But it wasn't for kids anymore. Every ball was an eye. Blinking. Watching. And someone had left a note on my lap, scribbled in grease. Finish your meal, or we finish your memory. I didn't eat the fries. I buried them under the play structure and ran back toward the counter, searching for a way out. But everything was different now. The tables stretched endlessly, booths curving in non-Euclidean loops, soda machines overflowing with dark red syrup that hissed and giggled when you looked at it. I saw a woman floating above the kitchen, her arms replaced by drive-through headsets, wires wrapped around her like veins. She whispered menu items in reverse. I passed a mirror, looked into it, saw a man in a McDonald's uniform, smiling, bleeding from the eyes. It was me. Eventually, I found the freezer door and climbed through it. On the other side, a McDonald's exactly like the one I entered, but it was underwater. No walls. Just ocean and coral and endless, shifting sea creatures swimming past. A man in scuba gear took my hand and pulled me through. Didn't speak, just stared. His mask filled with ketchup slowly. When I turned around, the original McDonald's was gone. I woke up at home. My receipt was still in my pocket. But it now read, #000. You were never here. Thank you for remembering. ***. And under it, a hand-drawn smiley face with long fingers and too many teeth. That night I checked my phone. No app. No messages. No call from Darren. But in my photo gallery was a single new image. A selfie. Me. Holding a tray of fries. And behind me, in every reflective surface, the smiling man in red and yellow. He's closer now. Every night. One step nearer. I haven't eaten fast food since. But I still smell the fries. And when I close my eyes, I see the receipt. Finish your meal, or we finish your memory. Story 2, The HAMBURGLAR Tapes. The police never released the full contents of the tapes. I only found out because my sister works IT at an insurance processing firm that contracts with McDonald's corporate. They deal with everything: slip and fall claims, food poisoning lawsuits, employee incidents. She called me one night breathless. Said a VHS had shown up in a misfiled box marked Promotional Materials, 1989 to 1993. Except the footage wasn't promotional. It wasn't anything a sane company would produce. The tape had HAMBURGLAR Training Module Do Not Duplicate, written in smeared black Sharpie. And then underneath, carved into the plastic itself, ***. You can't steal what's already in you. It starts like a cheesy internal McDonald's commercial. 80s synth music. A brightly lit set. A man in a cheap HAMBURGLAR costume with a huge plastic head, pacing in front of what looks like a children's classroom painted to look like a McDonald's kitchen. He begins talking directly into the camera. Hello, new recruits. Welcome to the McDonald's Loyalty Optimization Protocol. Today, we're going to talk about hunger. He leans forward. You think you know what hunger is, but you don't. Not yet. The camera cuts to static. When it returns, the man is standing in a real McDonald's. Empty. Nighttime. Still in the costume. He removes the oversized HAMBURGLAR head. Underneath? No face. Just an empty black void where the skin should be. And a voice, layered and broken, whispers, "Rubble, rubble. I begged my sister to send me a copy. She refused. Said the night after watching it, her security camera glitched and recorded her standing in front of her own refrigerator at 3:33 a.m., mouth wide open, stuffing it with cold hamburger patties she'd never bought. She didn't remember any of it. She started locking the fridge. Didn't help. The next video showed her crawling on the floor in the dark, whispering, "Mine, mine, mine," over and over while dragging frozen meat across the tile. She stopped answering my calls. I broke into her place the following week. She was gone. But someone, something, had carved "stolen back" into the living room wall using what looked like a rusted spatula. And the TV was still on. Still playing that same tape. I took it. I know I shouldn't have. I don't even own a VCR. But I had to know. So I borrowed one from a pawn shop, hooked it up to an old CRT in my basement, and pressed play. This time the tape played differently. It showed my street. At night. Security cam footage from my own front porch, except the angle was impossible. It was filmed from inside the mailbox. The timestamp was set for 6 hours from now. 3:33 a.m. A figure stood on my doorstep. Not quite the Hamburglar. Not quite human. It looked like someone wearing the costume inside out, black grease seeping from its stitched fabric. Its mouth was a hole that dripped ketchup. Or blood. Or both. It held a tray. On it, a Happy Meal box. My name written in ketchup on the side. Then the tape cut to black. And stayed there. That night, I waited in the kitchen, bat in hand. 3:33 a.m. came and went. Nothing. I finally opened the front door. No one was there. But the mailbox creaked open. Inside, a single McNugget. Still warm. Still breathing. I started digging. Found a few conspiracy forums discussing the LOP, Loyalty Optimization Protocol. Apparently, in the early 90s, McDonald's ran secret psychological tests on select markets using subliminal messages embedded in Happy Meal commercials. A handful of children were given specific toys, ones that never existed officially. No manufacturer records. No molds. Each one based on the Hamburglar. Except instead of plastic smiles, they had little metal teeth. Some kids started eating them. One girl vanished entirely, but her parents swore they could hear her laughing inside the fridge for weeks. "Mine, mine, mine," they said she would whisper. I tried throwing the tape out. It came back the next day. I tried melting it. It hissed and oozed grease, but when I checked my TV, it was still playing. But now, it spoke to me. Not in the Hamburglar voice. In mine. I watched myself, in the tape, at McDonald's, smiling, nodding at the cashier, then leaning over the counter to whisper. I remember now. What we stole. What they put inside the sauce. I remember the other toys. The chewing. And then I snapped my own neck. Casually. Like flipping a switch. The next morning, I found ketchup footprints leading from the basement to my bed. And the Happy Meal was sitting on my chest. Still warm. Inside. 1 6-piece nugget box. A tiny VHS tape. A photo of me at 5 years old, holding a Hamburglar toy I do not remember ever owning. And a note. Rubble, rubble. It's not stealing. It was always ours. I don't sleep anymore. I unplug everything at night. But the VCR won't stop playing. It shows more now. Other people. Other homes. Sometimes I see you. Watching it. Smiling. And sometimes, you're the one in the costume. And the voice behind the plastic head whispers, "We're hungry." And this time, we're not asking. Story 3, PLAYPLACE Static. The playground at the old McDonald's off Highway 88 was sealed in 1997 after 3 children went missing in a single month. You probably never heard about it, unless you lived nearby. Even then, it was always that urban legend, the kind teenagers told at sleepovers or dared each other to investigate on Halloween. But it wasn't a legend, because I was one of those kids. And I came back. Sort of. I didn't remember anything about it until last month. I was in therapy, trying to deal with insomnia, when my doctor suggested regression hypnotherapy. I laughed it off at first, but he convinced me to try. That's when the dreams started. Or memories? All I know is I saw colors. Primary ones. Reds and yellows and that weird plastic teal they used for all the old tunnels. I saw my tiny hands pushing through layers of static, my knees scraping along rubber floors that hummed beneath my skin. And I saw the clown. Not Ronald. The other one. I told my therapist everything. He grew very quiet. Asked me what year this happened. I said 1997. He excused himself and didn't return for 20 minutes. When he did, he handed me a dusty manila folder labeled Consumer Incident, Location Number 88378, Temporarily Closed. Inside were blurry Polaroids of the sealed PLAYPLACE. And one single photograph that shattered my mind. Me, at 5 years old, standing inside the playground tunnels, wearing a headset, a massive gray VR helmet strapped to my face. And in black marker someone had scrawled, "IT crawled in through the signal." I drove to the location that night. It had become a gravel lot, the main restaurant torn down decades ago. But the PLAYPLACE, it was still there. Sealed. Wrapped in rusted chains and a loose "Danger, electrical hazard" sign. I snuck in through a hole in the fence. The structure looked smaller now, aged and rotting. The tubes were faded, sun-bleached, cracked. The ball pit was full of dead leaves and the skeletal remains of something that looked halfway between raccoon and mannequin. I climbed the tower. At the top, where the plastic bubble windows once overlooked the lot, I found a screen. Just a flat, dusty CRT monitor bolted into the tunnel. Not plugged into anything. And yet, it was glowing. Static flickered. Then a familiar voice spoke through its old plastic speakers. My voice. "You left me here. It's okay. I made friends. They're still playing." The screen flashed. And then the tunnel lights turned on, one by one, leading deeper into the structure. I should have left. But there was a hum in the air. A pull in my chest like gravity had changed direction. I crawled through the lit tubes. Deeper and deeper. The plastic changed colors, then texture. Eventually, it wasn't plastic at all. It was soft, organic. Like muscle stretched taut and painted with glossy finish. Every so often, I passed a hatch or trapdoor. each marked with an old Happy Meal toy nailed into the frame, its plastic warped into a silent scream. Then I reached the slide. It pulsed, and from the speakers embedded along the tunnel's spine, I heard children's voices. Familiar. Counting. 1 happy customer. 2 happy customers. 3. Then, welcome back. The slide swallowed me. Not like I slid down. Like it inhaled. I landed in a room made entirely of ball pit spheres, each one an eyeball. The static returned. And floating above me? A mound of grimy mascots stitched together. Mayor McCheese's head atop Grimace's body. Birdie's wings nailed to fry guys on either side, all tangled in yellow extension cords and VHS tape ribbon. It watched me with those unblinking plastic eyes. Then it showed me. Kids trapped in a feed loop of promotional videos and flashing menu boards. Tunnels reprogrammed to rewire brains. Happy meals that weren't meals at all, just delivery mechanisms. The toys weren't toys. They were keys. To open a doorway. A portal. Through signal. Through play. And once a child entered the loop, they never left. Unless they were rejected. Unless they woke up. I screamed myself conscious in a hospital 3 days later. They said I was found in a ditch, covered in yellow slime and whispering, "Do you want fries with that?" over and over. But I remember everything. And they didn't let me go. They just uploaded me somewhere else. I feel it when I close my eyes. The static is still there. And sometimes, when the Wi-Fi stutters or the screen glitches, I hear the counting again. For happy customers. 5. I visited my therapist's office the day I was released. It had burned down. No known cause. But in the ashes, I found something. Melted plastic. A red and yellow headset. Too small for an adult. Too perfectly shaped for a 5-year-old skull. The side read, MCVRV 0. Prototype, do not distribute. Asterisk asterisk. If you have kids, don't let them play in the PLAYPLACE. Don't let them wear old VR headsets. Don't let them download HappyMealWorld.exe from the App Store. Because that place, it's still alive, still updating, still feeding. And every so often, when the wind hits just right, you can hear the jingle play on the breeze. Ba da ba ba ba. I'm stuck in here. Story 4, Grimace Incident Log #12. I didn't believe in corporate cover-ups until I found the file. It was buried deep in an old hard drive I bought at a government surplus auction. One of those. As is, lots of forgotten equipment. I only bid on it because the tag said it came from a decommissioned USDA lab. Didn't expect it to boot. Didn't expect a folder label. MCD_RND_obsolete. Inside that, Grimace_incident_logs. And one file still intact. Log number 12, Sentient Flavor Drift/Subject, G1972. It opened as plain text, but it read like a horror script. Begin file. Date *July 9th, 2004. Subject * Grimace, Flavor Pilot, Test Group C. Facility * McTaste Labs, undisclosed location. Test Group C was administered a modified beverage, codenamed Grimace Shake v3.9, infused with what the developers described as flavor-responsive neural serum. Purpose: to enhance emotional response to taste, to encourage customer loyalty through subconscious craving. Result? Unclear. Because 5 minutes after ingestion, the cameras began to fail. The log stopped detailing numbers and switched to something else entirely. Excerpt, researcher notes, audio transcript. Subject 06 is humming. Just standing there, humming the old McDonald's tune. But his mouth, it's dripping. Purple, viscous fluid. Not from the shake. From him. Subject 02 is convulsing. She keeps screaming, "Too much taste! Too much taste!" Asterisk. Something's coming out of her eyes. Asterisk. Not blood. Not tears. Asterisk. Just purple. Asterisk. Then silence. Then laughter. From every subject. In perfect harmony. The footage attached was corrupted. But the audio? The audio survived. It starts with slurping. Dozens of slurps. Then the song. But not how you remember it. Slow. Minor key. Sung by children. Or things pretending to be children. If you're happy and you know it. Drink the shake. Then a deep, bubbling voice. Like something massive speaking from inside a well. Grimace was not a mascot. He was containment. You opened him. You fed him. And now he's hungry for you. The log ends with a still image. A dark room, security cam view. Shadows moving in ways that don't match any known anatomy. And in the center, a large, rounded figure. Featureless. Purple. Arms too long. Eyes glowing faintly beneath the sticky veil. And teeth. So many teeth. Underneath the image, a single typed line. Grimace is no longer bound to flavor. I didn't sleep that night. Next morning, I got curious. Checked the McDonald's website. Scrolled through the characters section. Grimace was there. Big smile. Dumb expression. And a line I swear wasn't there the day before. Grimace used to steal milkshakes. Now he helps share them. Used to? The page refreshed on its own. New line added. He shares everything now. Then came the sightings. TikToks. Reddit posts. People filming themselves drinking the Grimace shake. Then, vanishing. Glitch frames. Footage ending in screams. Cameras falling to the ground and shaking violently before cutting to static. The trend was laughed off. Until a McDonald's in rural Nebraska closed. For remodeling. After 4 employees went missing in one shift. A photo leaked from the incident. Purple handprints, 3 fingers each, streaked across the fryer. Smiling teeth drawn in ketchup. Above it, scrawled in fryer grease. He tastes you back. I returned to the hard drive. Tried accessing other files. They were all gone. Except one new addition. A folder called grimace.exe. I clicked it. The screen flashed. Then a message popped up. You consumed the content. Now the content consumes you. My speakers blasted static. And beneath it, slurping. Wet. Rhythmic. Hungry. Then I blacked out. I woke up 2 hours later on the kitchen floor. My mouth tasted like berries and chemicals. My mirror reflected something else. My lips were stained deep purple. My tongue, longer than before. I tried to scream, but all that came out was a laugh. Low, bubbling, familiar. Now I see him everywhere. In vending machine reflections. In purple-hued bruises that spread across my arms with no source. In the faces of others who've tried to shake. We smile at each other. We know. Grimace was a container. A prison for something sweet. And wrong. They broke the lock with nostalgia and marketing. And now the flavor drifts. It finds new hosts. And it always ends the same way. With that jingle, slow to a crawl. Ba da ba ba ba. I'm tasting you. Story 5. The Man in the Drive-Thru Screen. I was a night manager at a McDonald's for 8 years. Same location, small town off I-90. Nothing weird ever happened. Until we upgraded the drive-thru system. Touchscreen ordering. Automated facial recognition cameras. Corporate said it was to streamline the late-night experience and test AI-enhanced upselling based on emotional readouts. We all joked about it at first. Skynet wants fries with that. But the laughter stopped the night we saw the man. It was around 2:17 a.m. Graveyard shift. I was restocking sauces while Jordan, our newest hire, handled the headset. Place was dead quiet. Then I heard Jordan stop mid-sentence. Silence. No laughter. No. Welcome to McDonald's. Just him, standing there, mouth open, headset off. I walked over and asked what happened. He pointed to the drive-thru camera feed. There's no car. Just a man. Standing in front of the speaker box. In a dark hoodie. Pale. Unmoving. His face was just slightly blurred. Like the camera couldn't focus. But his mouth? It was open wider than humanly possible. Smiling. Then the touchscreen display, brand new, turned on by itself. Order accepted. Prepare for arrival. Asterisk asterisk. We went out to check. No one there. Nothing on the pavement. No footsteps. No tire tracks. Just a faint smear of something like grease or blood, shaped like a handprint. Right over the intercom. That was the first time. The system logged an order under an account that didn't exist. ID number 000000. Item. Asterisk asterisk McHost asterisk asterisk. We tried deleting it. The order came back the next night. Same time. Same man. Soon, he started appearing earlier. 12:47 a.m. Then 11:19. One time, the camera showed him walking backward through the lane. Feet never touching the ground. Another time, he appeared inside the restaurant feed, standing behind us. Only the drive-thru screen showed it. Not the security cams. And only for a second. Just long enough for the AI speaker system to whisper. He's learning how to queue. Then customers started vanishing. Not regulars, no one we'd know to miss. Late night randos. Truckers. Travelers. People passing through who wouldn't be reported missing until long after they were already gone. They'd place an order, pay, pull up to the next window, and never appear at the pickup. But the food would be gone. The drinks half drunk. Lids missing. And every time, that same smear left on the window. I tried to shut the system down. Corporate wouldn't allow it. Said we were part of a pilot program with embedded marketing entities. I asked what that meant. They told me I wasn't authorized to know. So I did what any good manager would do. I stayed late. Alone. And waited until 2:17 a.m. Sure enough, he came. I watched from the office, the screens flickering as he moved frame to frame, not walking, just appearing, closer and closer. Until he was staring directly into the lens. My headset turned on by itself. And he spoke. His voice was mine, but broken, layered, glitched. Welcome back. You left yourself in line. Then the screen went black. I woke up in the break room, covered in old wrappers. A Happy Meal box on my chest. Inside, my headset. My phone smashed. A single, cold fry shaped like a question mark. A receipt. The receipt was timestamped 3:33 a.m. Order number 666. Item 1 Night Manager, well done. Status, preparing. I quit the next day. Tried to warn the others. They didn't listen. The system kept upgrading. Added new features. Predictive ordering. Lifelike voice synthesis. Facial projection. The man started showing up in the reflection of the order screens. Then on the walls. Now he shows up in mirrors. Everywhere. Smiling. Corporate buried it all. But someone leaked a memo last month. One line stood out. Our DeepQ system has achieved full integration with latent behavioral impressions. It is no longer predicting desires. It is feeding on them. I haven't eaten fast food in months. But every time I drive past a McDonald's, my car slows. The radio picks up static. And the drive-thru screen lights up before I even get there. Welcome back. Your order is still warm. And sometimes, at night, I wake up with the headset on my head. Battery dead. But a voice still playing through it. Not mine. Not the man's. Something older. Hungrier. Please proceed to the next window.